So this is a story I've heard countless times over my childhood and even growing up. But this is a story about my cousin who is in the Philippines currently right now. And this happened around the 1970s, I believe, the early 1970s, when the Philippines, or this particular town that my family lived in, it was small, it was pretty rural, and there was not much electricity. It was pretty dark at night. But besides the fact, the story goes that one day my cousin and my aunt went to the local market to buy some groceries, okay? See, being a small town, everyone kind of like knew each other or was at least familiar with each other. So, you know, naturally my aunt would see somebody that she knew there. And being that it's a crowded place, she asked my cousin to stay put. She literally saw someone just across the way, maybe across the street. And so she went there to speak with them. And the conversation probably only lasted a few minutes, and when my aunt turned around, my cousin just vanished, disappeared. So of course, being frantic and all this, my aunt immediately, went to person saying, "Have you seen this girl? Have you seen this little kid?" And to no avail, nobody came up with anything. So panic arose, and this led actually to a wide search party. And of course, yeah, leading the search party was my family, being my aunt and my uncle, and all the brothers, and and this search went from house to house. The town was small enough that everyone could possibly knock around doors. I mean, being that the community knew each other, they were helping each other, spreading out. And after searching quite a bit of this small town, my cousin never turned up. Never did. So the crazy thing is there's these, being a little rural town, this, town is surrounded by kind of forest and mountains. So naturally the search branched out to those areas, you see. And there is this particular mountain that's a little larger than the surrounding hills in the area. So by the time nightfall hit, this was a very prime area to search. So yes, so the men, all my uncles, their friends, by the time that they were hitting this area, I mean, they were going to give it a quick go. It was already getting dark. So they got their torches, literally like torches, like some. I'm sure there's some flashlights around. But I was told that they went with torches and whatever light source that they could. Now the hike of this mountain is no easy feat. It's pretty treacherous. I'm always told repetitively that there's this particular grass that grows there. It's kind of like a longer, taller grass. It's not just like that normal like Bermuda grass that you have at home. It's grows about the height of maybe, I don't know, corn stalks or something like that. But this particular plant is extremely sharp. Even if you're wearing clothes, long sleeves, whatever, this thing will slice right through you. So they had to be careful. They couldn't move the fastest that they could possibly move. And this, caused lots of problems, I'm sure, on the way. And, but yet they tried their best. They tried to get as high up in that mountain as they can. Come the time, there's this, so there is a moment where they do reach a plateau. Somewhere, I don't know if it's in the peak of it or not, but they said they reached a clearing up there. And in this clearing, it's, kind of surrounded by this grass, but there's like a kind of more smoother opening with that, with, less of this kind of foliage there, this kind of grass. So, right there, in the middle of the dark, my cousin is sitting there alone, crying. And immediately, my uncles and my, my other family members just rushed up to her as quick as they can. I'm sure they were relieved, but, you know, the question is that, they had to ask. They asked my cousin, like, how did you get here? My cousin, sobbing, she said, my mom brought me here. And she pointed to the edge of the opening of the clearing. And she said, look, she's over there. Don't you see her? My mom is right there, but she brought me here. My uncle, I think the person who approached her, looked in that area. He even went over there and searched. He could not see anybody. But she was dead on convinced that someone was there. Now, there are many kind of theories as to what actually brought her there. And one of the leading theories is that there's this creature. Well, there's a whole faction of creatures in the Philippines that they call Encanto. Now, these Encanto are not really demons or ghosts. They're more magical type creatures, okay? And the particular creature that they think is responsible for taking her is called a tikbalang. Now, this tikbalang is what they consider a shapeshifter, and it likes to disguise itself as people you may know to trick you. Now, when this creature is not disguised, it looks like, well, it has a body of a human, but it has the head of a horse. So my cousin, who is now safe and sound, has the unfortunate nickname of Tikbalang, believe it or not. Now, for those kind of maybe saying that she probably was kidnapped or abducted by maybe someone there and just was told to tell her to mom or whatnot, my cousin wasn't really that young when she was kidnapped here in the story. She was maybe she was probably 8 or 9. She would definitely recognize her mom, and I don't have any reason to believe that she would lie about it, because what reason was there to lie? The other crazy thing is, though, she couldn't have gone there herself, because when they found my cousin, she was totally unscathed. Remember that grass I told you about? She would have been cut up by this grass, and she had no scratches on her whatsoever. So I don't know.